Over the course of the last few decades, there have been so many advancements in the field of congenital heart disease, cardiac surgery for children with the most complex heart defects. We've really focused a lot on clinical outcomes and improvements, but also just as important, and which really doesn't get as much funding or publicity, is the research that goes into understanding why heart defects occur. When I see a fetal family who has been given the diagnosis of a baby that they're carrying with a heart defect, and they ask, why did this happen? I still don't have an answer to give them.
My name is Witte. My husband John and I have 3 children, and my second son, Austin, was born with a congenital heart defect. We weren't aware when I was pregnant with him of his condition until he was born. You know, unfortunately, the doctors just weren't able, or the ultrasound just wasn't able to be detected in that way. So it was a surprise to us when he was born. Very quickly, we found out that our son had a very serious heart condition, that, you know, all these machines and wires were necessary to help him live until they could help him with open heart surgery. I was not able to hold Austin until he was 4 days old. That was really hard as a mom. Not only seeing him with all the wires, but not being able to hold him. And then when we were able to hold him, we had to sit next to his bed, and we really couldn't move because of all the wires and medicines. As I got more involved in the Children's Heart Foundation, I learned that the foundation has been able to raise over $11 million in the last 20 years.
I'm Jason Young. I am a parent of 2 beautiful children with congenital heart defects, and one little girl with who's heart healthy.
Gray, our oldest at the time, when we found out, he was 5 years old. We had gone in for a routine outpatient procedure, but while we were there, the anesthesiology nurse noticed that his heart rate was low.
Before I was diagnosed, I felt really tired a lot. I didn't have as much energy as I wanted. I would fall asleep a lot. I just wasn't really sure why I had so much less energy than all of my friends.
That was our first introduction. And then we had a healthy girl after having Grayson, and then Miles, our youngest, they mentioned to us that they saw something in Miles' heart. Miles had a AV canal defect. She explained that it was a hole in both atrium, both ventricles, and involved the valves, and it would require open heart surgery. Just
a complete fluke experience of having 2 different heart conditions and 2 of your children. So
you feel like you just got struck by lightning, but then what you really, as you start to read and understand, and families start coming out of the woodworks with, we've sat in those chairs, we're here for you, here's a raccoon for your son to hold on to. But the only thing that we're going to do to really save lives here is to fund the benchtop research, fund the clinical trials, help train surgeons on new techniques. We need to come at it from 3 very important directions. We need to prevent, we need to detect, and we need to treat. And so the Children's Heart Foundation is what we've really gravitated towards, because the sole mission of this organization is to fund the most promising research.
I think one of the most common misconceptions about congenital heart defects are the fact that when someone has surgery and after surgery, you know, they may be healed, but there isn't a cure.
I kind of came to the realization that every 8 years or so, I would have to have another surgery, and that was kind of hard to think about, going through the rest of my life, surgeries every couple of years to replace this battery that hopefully someday could be self-charging or kinetic energy.
There's much more work to do, and if you compare it to other children's needs and illnesses, they are able to raise hundreds of millions of dollars. So we as a foundation need to get there and are asking for everyone's support.
And what sets the Children's Heart Foundation apart is their emphasis on research. So that I think is a really important niche that requires a lot of rigor, because Applications are coming in from different institutions throughout the country, from all different fields, from people in the lab, from people on the clinical front lines, from cardiac surgeons who are studying a variety of areas. So to provide the scientific board and rigor to evaluate those, to fund the most promising research in areas affecting patients with congenital heart defects. That is something that no other heart foundation does, except the Children's Heart Foundation, specifically in the field of congenital heart disease.